Thank you.
My lecture is still going on.
You can ask them to join this.
Madam, you can begin.
Okay. Thank you. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. So, welcome everyone. Thank you all for joining today's webinar. My name is Priyanka Shah. I am an assistant professor in EC department at the Parul Institute of Technology. So today we are presenting webinar on manufacturing excellence framework in an organization, which will be presented by Mr. Brijraj C. Jhala. Right. So Mr. Brijraj C. Jhala, he is an operational excellent professional with demonstrated history of working for over 11 years in the industry. As at present, he is working with Piramal Glass Private Limited as an deputy manager in manufacturing excellence function, and he is overlooking two plants, one in India and the other one is in Sri Lanka. He is a lead auditor and has several certifications like Six Sigma Black Belt, FSCC 2200 lead auditor, IMS auditor, ISO lead auditor, BRC packaging lead auditor. He is also a recognized coach to the digital champions of the organization for enablement of digital transformation. So here is the brief introduction about our today's guest, that is Mr. Brijraj Srijala. So now uh, I would like to request him to continue with this topic. I hope you will enjoy this webinar that is somewhat different, and you will come to know the management skill by this webinar. So welcome Mr. Brijraj, and now I request you to continue with this topic.
Okay, thank you, Priyanka, for the kind words. So good afternoon, everyone. So I think so. If we can just brief the rules. So basically, there will be questions answered at the end of the presentation, right? Yeah.
Yes, we will be having a
Okay.
question answer term. If anyone is having any questions, you can message me, right? I will inform him at the end. So we will be having 10 to 15 minutes for question answering. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and Priyanka, if you can just let me know if we are running out of time or if I'm overstepping time, you can let me know so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can
sure. Don't worry
pace
about
myself
that.
accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Sure.
will. Okay.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I am Brijraj Jhala. So basically, I am an alumni of Parul University. I passed out in 2008 from PIT and I completed my bachelor's in electronics and communication. So thing is, I started my career as an engineering professional. So I worked in telecom industry, in heavy engineering industry also, like Crompton Greaves, and thereafter I joined Piramal Glass in instrumentation. So that was also an engineering core profile. Uh, Later on, when I completed my 2 or 3 years of experience in engineering, I came to know of something very different, which is right now the hot cake in the industry, which is the excellence program. So I voluntarily moved on to this function from engineering to this. So yes, it was a decisive call I took, looking into the conditions of current as well as the forthcoming conditions. So I joined manufacturing excellence function. Now, for you, a lot of many people, I don't know, this will be a very new terminology for you. And reason being, I'm sharing this presentation right now is also because in this pandemic times of COVID-19, if we see, there are a lot of businesses and industries, there are a lot of organizations which are actually trying to change a lot. So even I am pretty sure that Parul also will be doing the same thing. So this change, which I'm trying to mention here, is is we do it by undergoing some sort of methodology. So that is a system in place, and we uh, go through this change in a very systematic process, so that everything is retained and we can achieve a set objectives. So uh, I call myself as a change evangelist. So basically, I work as a change agent, and you can reach out to my the LinkedIn profile, which is anyways mentioned below. Uh, just to like before we begin, I would request that don't get bored of this topic, because I know that many people, many students especially, those who will go into industry later on, they are now industries are adapting to a change. Okay, so this change is not carried out immediately. So there are a lot of people, a lot of process, there are a lot of things involved. The leadership is involved in a way that how we will change ourselves with coming times, because if we don't change, yes, then we become obsolete. So thing is, now nothing is uh, normal. So as you all know, with this pandemic also there are new normals. You are doing lectures from home, you are using digital technologies a lot. So this you all must be undergoing a change which you all guys might not have even thought of. So this is what change brings about. So I will be focusing a lot of things on change management. So change management is a business management subject, and it's a very huge and very varied subject on which I can take of 2 3 days of lectures. But yeah, I think so. In this short time, I will try to cover as much of uh, subjects and uh, objectives as much as possible. Just to brief on my background and the organization I work with. So this I work with Piramal Glass Private Limited. So it's an subdivision of a Piramal Group. It's a 20 billion capital group as a whole, and it's almost more than 10,000 employees globally. It's a diversified conglomerate. So conglomerate because we are into various business. So I represent glass here. We are into enterprise. We are into real estate and foundation also. Foundation is for the social commitment like CSR, etc. The Piramal Glass business. So we are global leader. So I'm very proud to say that we are leaders in at least in India, and third across the world. We cater to segments such as cosmetics and perfumes, pharma bottles, and food and beverages bottles. So we manufacture glass bottles, and these are the segment which I just mentioned. Manufacturing facilities are in India, US, and Sri Lanka. And the vision, because vision is what actually which thrives you to move forward and be successful. So that is to be among the top three flaconnage manufacturers in the world by 2020. So since that year is on, we are already into that. We have achieved our vision, and we are now setting new vision for the coming times. This is just a brief map of the demography of our network. So you can see it's spread all across the globe. There are manufacturing sites, business offices, and the offices and the warehouses. We even have a decoration unit. So decoration unit does the aesthetic improvement of the bottle. So the bottles which you see, especially of perfumes, which are decorated from outside and all that stuff, that also the value added service we provide. So now coming to the basic topic. So as I mentioned, we are going to talk of excellence, change management, continuous improvement, a lot of new words for you, especially. But just to make it very clear, it's not that these things are only practiced in an industry. These things or the methodologies which I'm talking about are also practiced across service industries also, and also in institutes. So there are a lot of universities, there are a lot of institutions, I would say, those who actually produce, they practice such methodologies and they see a great results in from that. So what is the need actually? So just to start with, first we need to understand what is excellence and why is it needed. So because that's a basic question, that if we are doing something right now, so why do we need to improve? Okay. So there are a lot of famous quotes from very famous people like Aristotle. It's saying that what is an excellence? It is that we are what we do repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. So basically, if you are doing the same thing regularly, that is not an excellence. That is a very normal thing which you are doing. But if you do something over the time and that becomes an habit, so that will obviously bring in some new things, and that will then lead to excellence. So if you see the image below, that's good, better, and best. So thing is where you aim to. So if you aim to be at good, then obviously you will be at good only. But yeah, if you keep aiming higher and you keep practicing the same thing, you will go to better, and then obviously you will reach to the best, which is the pinnacle. Okay. Also, the various famous Charles Darwin theory is the survival of fittest, but uh, how which species actually survive. So that is what we are actually trying to link the excellence meaning with. So it is not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It is the one that is the most adaptable to change. So this is what I'm trying to uh, make you understand, is that the species is not only about human beings, even it applies to all of us right now, and we are doing many things right now. For example, because the topic I'm trying to address today is very apt in this condition. As I told, it is in pandemic times, everybody is trying to change and we are trying to adapt. So this adapting and this change is what we are experiencing right now. So as the person or the people or the species, etc., those who are adaptable, they will survive. So this is what is the new norm now. Okay. Now this is a very good, I would say, two words which describes excellence.
Hello. Just a
Yes,
minute, please. Uh, are you presenting PPT?
yes.
It's not showing here. Can you again share it?
1 minute.
Uh,
Visible now.
yes, now it is visible.
So from where it was not visible, you can tell me. I can
Yeah,
just
it shows you on the first slide.
now. Is it visible? Like if I'm
Yeah,
changing the slides. Yeah.
yeah. Now this slide was, yeah. Okay.
This you saw. Yeah.
No, from the first
So
slide.
okay. So no issue. I think so. I already talked about this. I will just scroll through the PPT slides. So just for information, you can recollect what I told.
Yes.
This was introduction. This was for the organization which I represent, Piramal Glass. So this is just a brief on the business. This is the network, and this is what I was just talking. And I think so. The quote which I mentioned right now is the Aristotle one, that it's an habit, it's not an act. Second is the Charles Darwin quote, which is to adapt with time. So that is what I was trying to relate with the current pandemic situation also. So Priyanka, now it's visible, no? If I'm just going scrolling through.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah.
visible now.
Okay.
Oh,
Fine. So this was where I was actually trying to uh, bring into your notice that these two words are very important in this scenario, and I would say which will be very important for the coming times, because these are the two words wherein everything and overall organization will walk around, and organizations which will perish also. There will be organizations which will uh, take out a lot of things from this things, and there will be a lot of organizations which will also perish to this. So I will just try to explain you in detail. So what do you mean by innovation? So innovation is, we in normal layman terms we tell it that it is the same, doing the same things in a better way. So that is like we are doing the same cycle, we are repeating the same cycle. You will be doing something in your universities, you will be doing your in something in your professional career in the same way, and you try to do something better from that. So that is, we call it as an innovation. Now, what is disruption? Because the disruption is a very, I would say, most talked word about word right now. So it is because if we do the same thing again and again, innovation can be done to some extent, right? It cannot be all time thing which is like we keep on doing and we'll get success. But if you do something new and which will make the old thing obsolete, so that is called a disruption. So if I just try to make you relate to what is happening, the present condition of COVID-19 is a disruption. You were never expecting to do virtual classes. Okay, so this virtual classes is called a disruption. The overall fundamental of a classroom wherein you are teaching students, that's like physically present, face to face contact, everything. So now that is all gone virtual. So this is a word disruption. So that is I'm trying to give you some examples. I have some very good examples in the coming slides also, which will make you understand that why this disruption, and understanding this disruption is important, because unless and until you don't understand the disruption, you will not be able to innovate, and basically you will not be able to then continually improve also. So if we go ahead, so basically there are 1 minute. Call. So there are, if you see, the thing I was talking about disruption. Uh, as I told, there are many people and companies who once performed at the top of their line because they were justful and adventurous, but become complacent. So what do you mean? That there were organizations and there were people, those who were actually happy. Hello.
yes,
Yeah,
Bridget, you
yeah.
are audible. Yeah.
So there were a lot of organizations, people, those who were complacent with whatever they achieved. So what happened? They actually, with time, they perished. So perished is means they couldn't be successful, or they actually were thrown out of the competition. So first is, and there are certain organizations examples which are listed here. So first is a Blockbuster. So I think most of you must be knowing that Blockbuster was an online DVD. We used to see DVD for movies, etc. The Blockbuster used to provide DVDs, and it was a very hit in 90s and etc. And but if you see how the business changed, so how the disruption came. So with Netflix coming in, so like OTT platforms, so this Blockbuster was destroyed. It's like currently it is there, but Netflix revenues and profits are almost fivefolds the Blockbuster. The thing is, Blockbuster was anyways doing very good business that time, but they could not foresee the future. So that is what I'm trying to say. Unless we foresee the future and we are able to change, or we are able to adapt to the new coming times, then we actually perish and we become obsolete. Second is Dell. So Dell was also similar, which was focusing on a lot of computer appliances. Later on, it was immediately replaced by mobile devices. And Kodak. So Kodak is one of the classic example which you will see everywhere in management lessons. It is like it was one time, I would say, the most sold, most famous digital device, and the company also. But with new technologies coming in, it could not adapt, and basically then it lost out. And at present, if you see, there is no you will not find Kodak in the industry right now. So it is also because they could not adapt. Microsoft, anyways, they took up, but they also lost a lot of business because they could not adapt to the web TV, books, smartphones, etc. Motorola is another classic case. If you can just see that how the new smartphones, new in the companies like the I would say Apple, Redmi, Xiaomi, and a lot of Chinese brands, etc. The Motorola also could not actually outdo these competitors. It is also because they could not adapt. There are a lot of things. Just I would, it is in front of you. You can just go through because I can. And there is one very classic case of disruption is the Uber. The Uber taxi. If you know, the earlier we used to book taxis. The transporters used to hire they used to hire so much of they used to keep a lot of inventory. So inventory in terms of taxes, they used to keep they used to invest a lot of taxes. Now if you see Uber change come came in the industry, and they completely uh, I would say destroyed this the taxi industry. And you can just understand that Uber doesn't own anything, that's a very surprising thing. Uber doesn't own any of the taxis from which they are earning. So this is the sort of disruption I'm talking of. So this disruption can happen anywhere. It's not an only in organizations. This can happen in universities. It can happen to us. So this adapting to change is very critical. So now, how do we adapt to? So point is, adapting is, it's a very easy to say word, but yeah, like we just try to understand that what we call it as a continuous improvement. So continuous improvement is, I would say, we call it as a PDCA cycle. It's also very famous word which we use in management terminology. This PDCA cycle is like we call it a plan, do, check, and act. And it was invented by Deming. Deming was very famous for this continuous improvement. He was called the father of continuous improvement. So what do you mean by continuous improvement is what I told, that if you are able to adapt to change, yes, we will obviously continually improve. So that is the aim, what I'm trying to say. So it is this Deming cycle or PDCA cycle. There are a lot of words which are the same, which means the same. It is a continuous circle. So basically, you keep on doing the same thing and you will achieve the target. And this continuous improvement is not, as I told, is only limited to organizations, institutions, etc. It is also with personal life. So for your personal goals, etc., your ambitions, you can follow this continuous improvement cycle, and yes, obviously you will achieve this. So, and I know that many people will be doing all this stuff, but these terminologies might be sounding new to you. But it is, I would say, I vouch on this that if you follow this all everything properly, then a lot of things will get, you will be able to achieve things properly, and you will get a lot of satisfaction. And the aim objective is that you satisfy yourself as well as the organization which you're working for. So now, since we are talking of continuous improvement, so now this continuous improvement, as I told, is a methodology. Now, to achieve this, there are a lot of things. Just to give you an idea, since we are talking of excellence, and I talked about what sort of excellence we are trying to achieve. So there are certain models. So because what happens, like this PDCA cycle was a model. There are a lot of models which are developed over the time. So these models are because we need a set of instructions, we need set of rules, so that everybody, those who follow this, have the same standard, I would say, methodology, as well as the aim of achieving the the aims of achieving the objectives are also the same. So that for standardization, we have these models in place. So first, the inner one circle is a process excellence. The process excellence is for any process. So for like example, it's in your university, that's an admission process, right? So that admission process is a process in itself. So if you want to improve on that process, so there are excellence models for that. So that models are like, you have to track everything which comes in, what is the outcome, from for that outcome, what actions you are taking. So there are a lot of tools which can be used. So for every excellence models, there are a lot of tools. So tools are basically to help you and guide you to how to apply this methodologies in your current existing system. So this process excellence, as I mentioned, is just focusing on the existing processes, and processes are everywhere. It's not in any industry, it's also in universities, institutions, everywhere. Second is the operational excellence. So now, if we see overall process, so now there are a lot of processes. For example, in a university, there are like admission process, there will be some other academic I don't know, courses process, etc., etc. So if we just combine our whole processes, so then we actually see as a operation as a whole. So that is like we are want to see how the overall engineering functions are working. So there will be a lot of processes beneath it. So this operational excellence focuses on a lot of processes involved. So that's like overview of process excellence. It's a process excellence is a subset of operational excellence. And now business excellence. So what do you mean by business excellence? So now business excellence is like, if you want to talk at university level. So like for example, you can say that my lead time of recruitment as of admission is this. So a person showing inquiry to getting selected is, for example, 15 days. So you want to bring it down to 10 days. So this is a sort of excellence which you are trying to go for. So this is we call for business excellence. Now business excellence is we are talking of overall business as a whole. So that which matters to the business directly. Operational and process excellence are which matters to the selected processes or operations only. Now, as I told, since there are a lot of models involved, so I'll just trying to show which some of the certain existing models which many industries, many institutions, etc. are using. So first is a very famous Malcolm Baldrige Award model. So this is a model. So I will just try to explain that if you go for anything, any excellence, for example, an university tries to go for an excellence, they want to, they will have to have a vision. First, we need to have a vision that, yeah, I want to be in top 5 of this country, etc., whatever it is. And after that, there is a lot of thought process put in that how will we try to achieve that. So in that, then there will be these models will be fitted in that in this are our existing processes. How will we transform the processes, and how will we actually apply these models? So these models are not very, I would say, plug and play type that you take up and you fit in any process or any business and you get the success. They can be, they have to be tweaked. Sometimes they have to be also upgraded. They have to be sometimes even update also. And basically, it's all depend on what sort of requirement you have and what sort of business you have. The second is a very that this is also very famous one, EFQM, that is European Foundation for Quality Management, which is used throughout the Europe. And you all must be knowing that Europe is considered one of the best, uh, I would say, the continents wherein the quality management, the focus on quality is considered the prime most. So they don't deviate from from the standards. They don't deviate from the processes. So this model is very rugged, and I would say it has been one of the best models to apply. Then one is Singapore Quality Award Model, Japan Quality Award Model, Canadian Business Award Model, Australian. This There are two Indian models also, which are CI Exim and Golden Peacock Quality Awards. So this awards, as I told, this models basis, sorry, as I told, are the models which we can apply to our business, and basis on what objective we have to work towards it. So this is like innovation, disruption, everything comes into place, and basically we want excellence. That excellence is an outcome. Now, just a brief on one of the business models. I understand this is not easy to understand, but how these models actually work. So this is an EFQM model, illustrative. See, so how they involve. What is the involvement? I'm trying to show here is this enablers and there are results. So the enablers involve everything. So, for example, if you talk about university, so the leadership is also involved. The people is involved. There's a strategy. As I told, we need a vision. So that strategy is involved. We might even partner with someone. So there are a lot of stakeholders which are involved with you, that they are also involved in this. Every process which you follow is a part of this. So basically, all these leads are called as enablers, and what outcomes we get is the results. So one is like people results. Like if you see, if we go for excellence, so many people ask that what is the need of going for excellence. So like one is people results. So you will see the skill levels have gone up through excellence models. There are people getting more skilled. So that is one of that. Customer results. So for you, I don't, the customer is what, like they are the students. So if you see the students results, so maybe the results of students which is right now applying excellence, we can say that, well, if we get better results, obviously the scores of students will also increase. There are society results. So basically, because you are working, that's we are in an organization, there are a lot of things which are also associated with us. So there will be an improvement in society as well. And business results. So obviously, university as a whole, if we see, we are achieving this much of admissions last year with excellence. We have been able to improve this. So this I'm trying to just make you relate that how these excellence models are applied in an industry or institutions. Now, in any organization, this photo or the representation is very specific. So don't go by this. I will just try to explain that there are basically three-dimensional challenge in any organization or institution is the same. So one is the processes, because the processes which you are doing might might not be the right one, or always might not be the best one. Okay, I would just try to rephrase it. So that having correct processes in place is always one of the challenge. Assets. So for university, there are assets, students. There are assets like there is a campus as a whole. There are a lot of equipments you use. So that is called the asset. And last one is the people. So people is basically the staff. I think so. The working employees and the employees' commitment and the competency. So these are basically the challenges which any organization or the industry faces. Now, what is the aim of applying this model here is that with applying model, we always aim to increase the productivity. So productivity in terms of your will be, as I told, will be scores, etc. Delivery is like we want to complete the courses on time. Quality is you want better I would say hiring process, as well as the recruitment, the uh, what about placement. So basically the quality will represent by the placement qualities. And the cost, so cost is, we aim to reduce the cost, because any business they work, they always try to they aim for optimizing the cost. It's not only reducing it, it's like basically optimizing it. So this three dimensional challenge is everywhere, so like people, asset, and the process. Now, as I told, I just briefed you that what is the aim for achieving excellence. Why do we need it? So generally, if you see, in any industry or any organization or any institution, we only talk of breakthrough improvements. People want improvements which are breakthrough and which makes them, uh, which publicizes their achievement overnight. But this excellence tells that it's a continuous process. Basically, it's like continuous improvement. You cannot gain things overnight. There are a lot of efforts put in day out, which results into something. We call it as an achievement. Now, generally, people follow top line benefits. They want top line. Top line means directly savings in cost. That I want to have this much of money increase, this much of profit increase, etc., etc. But excellence also talks about bottom line things. So bottom line and top line, if we just have an idea of P&L, the profit and loss statement. So bottom line also includes a lot of things which matters a lot to an organization. So the excellence models looks at both sides. Then the normal idea is to actually work for organizational excellence. Like basically, we all say that, yeah, हमारी इंडस्ट्री, हमारी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अच्छा काम कर रही है, वी आर हैप्पी. बट excellence also talks for individuals. Like if your organization is doing, your institution is doing good, but how good you are doing, right? So that for individual development is also an focus area here. Also, we focus on individual brilliance. So in very traditional in the organizations, there is a focus that the person is doing good, this person is doing not good. So there's like basically creating silos in the system. But yeah, excellence brings in a lot of teamwork. So this is because there's a lot of cross functional and collaboration which happens. So these are some of the objectives which through my experience I'm trying to put in. Now, just a sample framework, because we have talked of models, we have talked of how the objectives will be. So, as I told, there are three major focus areas in every model, basically. So, one is process, asset, and people. The process, as I told, process is in any organization or institution, it does there, because in universities also you have a lot of processes. Asset, as I told, for you there are assets is like equipments you're using. Assets are also the students, because you have to take care of them. And people are the employees, basically the persons, basically the people aspect. Now if we see this Venn diagram, so if process and asset are taken care, then what happens is the reliability and quality increase. So, for example, process is your admissions, asset is a student. So, if we have a proper model in place, an excellence model in place, then quality of admissions, reliability is like the lead time will be low. So, these are some of the metrics I'm trying to just judge. Well, I might be wrong, but I'm just trying to make you understand. Now, asset and people. So if we see asset as student and employees, so what happens, like the teachers which they are teaching the students, so there is a proper model in place wherein this both, if they can work collaboratively good, then there's a sense of ownership which comes in. The ownership is from student side as well as the employee side or the staff side. There is also people care and the process care. So what happens if people, the employees are happy, they are doing things, they are competent, their skill levels are good, and the processes are also doing good, then what happens is we call it sustenance. So sustenance, like we, whatever we achieve, the achievement or the improvements which we do, they will sustain a lot. So because the major challenge in any improvement is to sustain. It's not an, as I told, it's not an overnight thing which we aim to achieve. It's like to achieve it through a lot of efforts and also to sustain it. Now, the center one is the main thing. I think so. That's the heart of everything what I'm talking today is the change management. So change management takes a lot of efforts. And it's not easy because to undergo all these things, we might be doing something good in asset, we might not be doing something good in process. So what happened as a whole, the framework or the objective which I'm trying to talk of doesn't, it's not successful. So just to brief on what is change management. So it is defined as the methods and manners in which organization describes and implements change within both its internal and external processes. So you have to see yourself and also the outside world. So as an university, you also have to see that wherein I need to change myself from inside, which anyways you are doing, and also from the external side, because there are a lot of factors which are affecting the external factors also affecting you. So this will also include a lot of efforts to put in for employees, for your out stakeholders, everybody, as they need to also undergo this change. It's like not only organization goes under change, it's also because the employees, the people, everybody associated with the organization undergoes the change. And we have to monitor pre and post that how this change has actually impacted. So pre and post monitoring is very critical because that shows whether it was successful or not. And this is a time taking as well as painful process, and I would say painful because the next slide will explain it. Priyanka, are we on the track, right?
Yeah, we are on the
Yeah.
track. Don't
Okay.
worry.
So yes, so again, so as I told, why change is very painful, the lady on the right very correctly is telling that whenever we sit together, somebody instructs us that yes, this needs to change, we'll say yes, we will do it. But in a way, somewhere down our mind, we are like, no, I don't want to do that. Right? So this happens is a very normal human thing, right? It's not that something which is very I'm being very critic of. It's like a very normal human feeling which everybody undergoes. And why change is so painful? It's like very, I try to figure it out. It's like because we always fear of losing something. Where is that fear that we don't want to change because we might lose what we have, and that fear actually then actually becomes a barrier, because that doesn't allow us to change, and then overall process of change management excellence comes to a halt. So uh, because we humans are very emotional, everybody knows, so we get attached to things, we get attached to processes, we get attached to people, we get attached to assets, everything. So that change, breaking that barrier is very important, and we always should think of innovating ourselves because anytime any disruption can come. So I'm just trying to bring in all words now so that everybody are on the same page. Uh, Now, this change management is a very big topic. I understand it's not, I can cover it in this short time, but I tried to bring in a video. So, because I believe in industry is what we do in organizations, like wherein the learning and development is very important. We usually convey messages through short stories and movies or videos, etc., or talks basically. So this is one. There is a one very good book actually that was by John Cotter. He's a very famous change management specialist, we call him, and he wrote a book as well as there is a movie or short video on that, which is called as "Our Iceberg is Melting." So there's a story of penguins. So I will just just start the video. So this actually video will talk about things, and I will halt somewhere where there are a lot of steps involved. So there's a 10-minute video. I request everyone to see this, because this video, I know most of major consultancy companies they use it very appropriately for all employees, all people, because this will explain you the change management process in a very, I would say, in a narrative way, wherein there is a story and you will be able to gauge and understand. Priyanka, noise is coming, no?
No, it's okay.
Yeah.
Proper.
Okay.
Yeah, voice is clear.
This is a story about a flock of penguins who live on an iceberg in Antarctica, the South Pole. They are like a big family. They have been living as a colony on this iceberg for years, as far back as they can remember. It is their home. They don't know it yet, but change is coming for them. In order to survive, they will need to learn the change leadership process, one step at a time.
Hello. Uh, hello, Vijay. Just a minute. Hello, Vijay. Hello, Vijay. Yeah.
When they aren't hunting for creatures in the sea, they spend most of their time with friends and relatives.
You are not audible. Just unmute yourself.
Yeah, one
Okay.
minute.
Yeah.
I actually changed my headphones, so.
Oh, it's okay.
Presenting things.
Hello, Vijay.
There's some issue with this video.
Okay.
1 minute, just give me 1 minute. Now audible, huh?
Yeah, it's audible.
This is a story about a flock of penguins who live on an iceberg in Antarctica, the South Pole. They are like a big family. They have been living as a colony on this iceberg for years, as far back as they can remember. It is their home. They don't know it yet, but change is coming for them. In order to survive, they will need to learn the change leadership process, one step at a time. When they aren't hunting for creatures in the sea, they spend most of their time with friends and relatives. Except this one, Fred. Fred is unusually curious and observant. He watches the sea and stuffs his observations, ideas, and conclusions in a briefcase. One day, Fred learned something alarming.
Oh boy, I have to do something. I gotta tell Alice.
This is Alice. She is one of the Penguins' Leadership Council members. She is tough and has a reputation of getting things done.
Alice, can I speak with you for a moment? I believe that our iceberg is melting.
Really? Well, show me what you mean.
So Fred took Alice to the heart of the iceberg.
See, Alice? Our iceberg has cracks that lead to larger caves. If the ice melts sufficiently, water will pour into these cracks and caves. If we have a cold winter, the water in these cracks can freeze quickly, trapping water inside the caves. Then, as the temperature goes lower, the water in the caves will freeze too. This freezing liquid will expand in volume, causing our iceberg to break into pieces. This could destroy our home and place us all in great danger.
This is not good. We must bring this information to the Leadership Council.
I'll prepare a presentation to convince them that something must be done.
The Leadership Council consists of Lewis, the head of the council, Alice, Buddy, the handsome, charismatic one, and Nono, a cranky penguin who is responsible for weather forecasts.
Causing our iceberg to break into pieces.
This is wild speculation and fear-mongering. Our iceberg can withstand such fluctuations. Can he guarantee his data and conclusions are 100% correct?
I can't. But if our iceberg breaks into pieces in winter, wouldn't many of us die?
Imagine parents who lost their children coming to us and asking, "Why didn't you foresee this crisis? It was your job to protect the colony." What would you tell them?
If Fred is correct, we only have 2 months until winter to react to this threat.
We must inform everyone. This calls for a general assembly of the colony.
No! It would be very bad to worry them.
We don't want to panic anyone.
We must keep this a secret.
I have an idea. Would you give me a few minutes, please?
Fred went quickly down the mountain and arrived minutes later with a glass bottle.
Let's fill this bottle with water, seal it, and leave it in the ice overnight. Then tomorrow we can see if it's broken by the force of expanding water as it freezes. If I am correct, the bottle will be broken.
Let's do it. We'll meet here tomorrow morning.
The next morning, they found the bottle broken.
Oh.
I'm convinced. We have to do something about this.
Let us call a general assembly of the colony.
And with that, the Penguins started the change leadership process with step 1, establishing a sense of urgency.
Clearly, our iceberg is in danger, but I am confident we will find a solution. We need to act quickly.
The next step was step 2, creating the guiding coalition. A diverse team of 5 penguins was given the task of finding a solution. Lewis, Alice, Fred, Buddy, and Professor, who was the smartest penguin in the colony. Each had different strengths, and together they were the best team for the job. Their task was step 3 of the change leadership process, developing a change vision.
I've got an idea. Let's move to the center of Antarctica, where ice is thicker and stronger.
We will be too far from the water. How will we get fish?
What about using superglue to hold the iceberg together?
That's very funny.
Look, up there! The seagull. It can't fly forever. It must have a home somewhere.
It could be very lost, but it doesn't seem to be afraid. What if moving from one place to another is just the way it lives? Like a nomad.
I can almost see how we might live. We'd learn to move around. We wouldn't try to fix melting icebergs. We would just face up to the fact that what sustains us can't go on forever.
Our founder had this same idea when he moved our colony to this iceberg years ago. This sounds like our best shot. Let's inform the others.
Their next step was number 4, communicating the vision for buy-in. Lewis called a general assembly again to tell all of the new strategy. Since Buddy was the best storyteller, he was chosen to tell the story of the seagull. Then Lewis addressed the crowd.
We are not chained to this piece of ice. Let it melt and break. We will find other places to live that are safer.
Although many penguins were relieved to hear this, many were still skeptical. So Alice came up with the idea of putting slogans on ice posters to win over the support of the colony. They worked hard to communicate the new vision of a nomadic life. Then they moved the plan forward with step 5, empowering broad-based action.
A scout team should go and look for another iceberg. Assemble a team and get ready.
Yes, sir.
Of course, it didn't go smoothly at first. Arguments broke out among the scouts, but Lewis dealt with them in a straight and direct way, keeping the focus on the main task. Then Nono started forecasting storms to discourage the scouts and lower morale. Lewis told Nono that his forecasting services are not needed at this time. Many of the penguins, particularly the young ones, were scared about the upcoming move. Buddy asked the teachers of the colony to speak about bravery to these young penguins. He inspired them to come up with Tribute to Our Heroes Day for when the scouts return. Next, they needed to act and make some progress. This is step 6, generating short-term wins. The strong, bright, and highly enthusiastic scouts jumped into the water and searched for a new iceberg that would be good enough for them to move to.
My life was boring. Scouting is fun!
I will do this for the colony!
My family will be so proud of me!
When the brave scouts finally returned, they were tired and hungry, but they were greeted with a hero's welcome. They were given medals and food. They told amazing tales about the sea, about swimming long distances, and about new icebergs they had seen. As happy as everyone was to have this successful trip completed, it was no time to rest. They pressed onward with step number 7, never letting up. The next day, a second group of scouts went out and found the best iceberg for their new home.
This iceberg has everything we need. A tall snow wall and good fishing sites. During the migration, our young and old can rest along the way on small icebergs.
Let's waste no time. Start the migration before winter hits.
The colony moved to the new home. The move was chaotic at times, but with Lewis's leadership and Buddy's encouragement, they arrived safely on the new iceberg. However, they still needed to take one last step. Number 8, incorporating changes into the culture. Although the new iceberg was solid and safe, they decided to move again the year after to an even better iceberg. They learned that to survive, constant change must become part of their culture. We can all learn something from the fable of these penguins. Is your organization safe? Are you sure that your iceberg is not melting? Here is a review of the change leadership process that the penguins used. Step 1, establishing a sense of urgency. Step 2, creating the guiding coalition. Step 3, developing a change vision. Step 4, communicating the vision for buy-in. Step 5, empowering broad-based action. Step 6, generating short-term wins. Step 7, never letting up. And step 8, incorporating changes into the culture. Think about these steps and how they work for our clever penguins. They can help you embrace change and keep you ahead of your melting iceberg.
Yes, so I think so. It was good.
Yeah, it is very good.
So I will just try to conclude now because I think so. We are running out of time, right? Yeah. So just in brief, so as I mentioned, embracing change is prime most. I think so. We all should learn, and to do that, there are a lot of tools which we use. So there is a lean. These are tools obviously you might not be aware of, apart from Six Sigma, which is a statistical analysis which we do. So these are certain tools which I'm just trying to brief you that this all are used to undergo this change management excellence, etc. Yeah, so thank you from my side. Any questions, please?
Thank you, British. Now we have time to questions. I have one question from this student,
Hmm.
Yashodan. He is asking, is this whole manufacturing excellence framework is depending on market research and R&D department?
It is not ideally only dependent on the market research. It is also dependent on some insights driven. So basically, we need some insights that how our processes are doing and what we aim to do. So that's also a lot of internal overlook which we need to have apart from only the outside research or etc.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Now I think Nityangiri ma'am has a question. She will ask you.
Yeah, sir, I wanted to ask that like we are faculties also, many faculties over here. So how can you just explain in short the 8-step change, the story, that video that you shared with us, that can be applicable to us at least in some sort?
Okay, so I won't go step by step because that will take time. But just to, it's not I'm trying to scare you all, but it's like there's a recent survey which tells that the skills which you existing skills which you have right now is going to get obsolete by 2025. So almost the skills which are currently with you, the 35% will only exist. 75 will go, 65% will be vanished. So that will actually, they will become absolute. So for staff like you and others, I request that you keep on upgrading yourself. So that upgrading is change management. So there are a lot of new skills coming in for teachers, etc. So try to learn new skills, adapt to new skills, and also embrace them very happily because this will make you survive.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So that is great. Thank you, Vijraj. I think now we are running out of the time, so we are
Yes,
keeping up to this. Thank you very much. Really, it was a good webinar. Every students will be happy. I know that because we got knowledge out of like technical rather than technical. So it's good, and video really it was wonderful, and really it's a big related to leading and change leadership process. So
sure.
thank you so much.
Okay,
And
and thank you to the fraternity also for giving this opportunity. And anybody can reach to me in case they want to know anything in detail. Okay. Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Actually, the Wi-Fi is gone in the university, so maybe because of that.
Okay, then I think so. Everybody will exit now. Thank you all once again, and take care and stay safe. Okay. Yeah. Bye.
uh, sorry, there is a network problem here.
No issue, no issue. I think so. We are already overshooting. So just thank you and request you to take care and be stay safe. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
Brijraj.
Okay.
And thanks everyone for joining us today. And we will see you next time. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.